أهلا وسهلا بكم في أبو ظبي وأهلا وسهلا بكم في دولة الإمارات. Welcome all of you to Abu Dhabi and welcome to the United Arab Emirates. ملاحظاتي ستكون باللغة الإنجليزية. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's a pleasure to be here at the first annual Hili Forum. Beginnings are always a special occasion. Today and tomorrow, you have the ability to craft a unique forum with its own voice, made possible by a diversity of perspectives among speakers and attendees. To all of the guests, it's my pleasure to convey to you the warm greetings of Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the UAE. We in the UAE are big believers in the importance of dialogue, and I think it is vital that we expand our platforms for dialogue, and when necessary, establish new forums like this so we can explore various ideas and perspectives. By drawing on the historical context of Hili and Al Ain, which served as a civilizational hub dating all the way back to the Bronze Age, we can hope to have the types of conversations that engage this wide lens, because the world needs these conversations now more than ever. The past few years have shown us the potential for a limitless future, but we are also reminded daily of the risks that imperil a brighter tomorrow. The theme of this first edition of the Hili Forum is as intriguing as it is accurate. Somewhat paradoxically, we are seeing advancement in the world and changes that are exciting, as well as regression in other areas and the concurrent rise of disorder. This duality also characterizes our region. While challenges abound in the Middle East, we have seen promising opportunities over the past few years. Yet economic and developmental progress across the Middle East has been uneven. Internally, the last few years were excellent years for the UAE. We grew and diversified our economy, strengthened relations with various partners, made successful advancements in unlocking the benefits of frontier technologies, including space exploration. And following a difficult last decade for our region, the UAE has been moving away from the traditional geopolitical lens of past years. We're focusing on geoeconomic strategies that benefit us, as well as our regional and international partners. And we are at the forefront of investing in new and advanced technologies. For the region, however, this is a very difficult time, characterized by a polycrisis with dire humanitarian effects that has overwhelmed the capacities of diplomacy and our region to respond. Once again, we find ourselves at a turning point, and the decisions we make now will shape the future. The international system, too, is experiencing more upheaval, accelerated in recent years by the war in Ukraine and the growing competition between the United States and China. Tensions in the Asia-Pacific region have risen. Meanwhile, the world at large is watching as America faces a consequential election this November. For a country such as ours, which sees globalization, open cooperation, and global trade as positive developments, this period of political, economic, and technological retrenchment in the world is a matter of considerable concern. In our region, the two urgent crises are, of course, in Gaza and Sudan. In Gaza, the war has created a humanitarian catastrophe with an estimated 40,000 killed, many civilians, and many more injured, despite the international community's persistent demands that all parties protect civilians from harm. This cannot continue. Since the onset of this conflict in Gaza, the UAE has contributed significant humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people and has emerged as the largest bilateral humanitarian aid donor to Gaza. We demand an immediate and permanent ceasefire, the rapid delivery of unhindered humanitarian aid for all those in need, and commend the extensive mediation efforts carried out by the United States, Egypt, and Qatar to bring about an end to the current fighting and the release of Israeli hostages. As we hope these efforts come to pass, we must discuss what a post-conflict plan after the ceasefire will look like. I have serious concerns as scenarios for this difficult transitional period remain problematic. A return to the status quo before October 7 will not bring lasting peace to neither the Palestinians nor the Israelis. We all must be aware that a successful post-conflict settlement has to alter the trajectory of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We believe, as does the international community, that this means the establishment of a Palestinian state that lives in peace and security alongside the State of Israel. It is also very important that we do not neglect Sudan, because that is where one of the worst humanitarian crises in recent history is unfolding. Here too, it is vital to implement an immediate and permanent ceasefire. We must return to the political process and achieve a peaceful solution to the crisis. Millions of people are in need of humanitarian aid, and ongoing fighting threatens the lives of millions more Sudanese. Blockages to the delivery of humanitarian aid threaten to produce an even more severe famine at a time when half of Sudan's population is already suffering from food insecurity. The scale of humanitarian suffering only underlines the absolute necessity for an end to the fighting as soon as possible. Peace efforts must succeed. The UAE remains firmly committed to continuing all our efforts to help the people of Sudan. Since the outbreak of the current crisis, we have provided extensive humanitarian assistance, and like the international community, we support a political transition to civilian rule in Sudan. We will continue working with partners and friends of Sudan, including through initiatives such as the Aligned for Advancing Life-Saving and Peace in Sudan, or the ALPS Group, which has recently been held talks in Switzerland on trying to achieve concrete results that hopefully can make a difference on the ground and give the people of Sudan a sense of hope. One key point I would like to make is that in light of these and other deeply concerning developments in our region, the UAE has relentlessly pushed for diplomacy in all instances. Going forward, our priorities remain the de-escalation of tensions and the strengthening of the role of diplomacy and dialogue as effective tools to resolve issues. Still, there's a lot of work to be done. I would like to spend a few moments on what we believe are the reasons for the UAE's success in navigating a changing international landscape characterized by rising geopolitical tensions. In just a few words, our domestic success points to the wisdom of leadership the values of our people, and sensible policies and choices that reconcile our values and our interests. I additionally want to mention the UAE's historical and solid commitment towards maintaining an open and competitive economy, our effective and evolving governance structure, and our collaborative mindset when it comes to dealing with today's most pressing challenges. First, our core values of tolerance and coexistence have motivated people from all around the world to choose to come to the UAE to live, work, and invest here and enrich our culture and country. Second, our leaders have invested in our people and recognize that peace and prosperity rely on the cultivation of human talent. Education, healthcare, and infrastructure are key priorities. Partly owing to these factors, the UAE has historically had an open and competitive economy and has built itself up as a global leader in multiple sectors. Continuity is all important. Our President, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, presents a vision of political stability, modernity, and socio-economic development, and a progressive outlook for the future that is in sync with the UAE's development trajectory since its formation in 1971. We also have an evolving effective governance structure here and are always seeking to improve how the government interacts with the people, including ongoing efforts for digitization. And in our foreign policy, we adhere to time-honored principles of mutual respect between nations, as well as respect for international law and core principles of the UN Charter. These principles engender good relations with regional states and international actors from around the world. Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed reminds us often that we need to strive to build ever more bridges and solid relations with as many countries in the international system as we can. When it comes to regional issues, the UAE does not engage to interfere, but plays a constructive role by engaging to find solutions that support stability and cooperation. The UAE does not work, furthermore, the UAE does not work in isolation, but with like-minded neighbors and friends. We also take seriously our responsibility to strengthen the multilateral system. We believe strongly as well in the importance of and value of foreign aid, and that the purpose of this aid is to support communities in need and in order to reduce global poverty. The traditional generosity of the UAE will continue to be an integral part of its foreign policy and its international responsibilities in the future. Looking forward, we recognize that the future's most promising opportunities depend on collaborative agendas. These will determine our collective progress on critical global challenges like the climate crisis or food security, as well as other security, environmental, and technology priorities. We have a national interest in building up our footprint in new areas, as evidenced in our increased focus on economics and technology over the last few years. While the UAE is a regional leader in many industries, we must be proactive in changing with the global economy and recognize the rise of new sectors and industries. UAE President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed has long spoken about the coming end of the hydrocarbon era and the need to develop plans for the new age we are in. We're placing a big bet on technology. This includes artificial intelligence, where explosive growth in the past 2 years has captured the imagination of the world and promises so much more. The energy transition holds a special importance for us. In our pursuit of net zero, our ability to cultivate clean and green technology and integrated will be a vital challenge for our economy as well as others. This will require sustained investment in creating 21st century knowledge economy that has the tools to utilize new technologies. International cooperation is now more complex given the scale of the global challenges we are facing, as well as the greater power competition and tensions. We believe we can play an important role in forging a more cooperative and inclusive international order in all areas. On the regional front, I believe that it is incumbent on the countries of our region, Arab and non-Arab, to institute the necessary dialogue for a new framework in order to tackle the tensions in our region. We have to change the trajectory of the past decades of frequent conflict and instability and forge a new understanding to ensure that the younger generations in the Middle East embark on a future where the new cornerstones are shared stability and prosperity. As we explore these opportunities and attempt to address challenges over the next 2 days, I encourage all of you to engage fully in the discussions, share your insights, and collaborate on solutions that will shape our shared future. The depth of expertise of both speakers and audience promises fruitful discussion and debate, which I hope will carry forward into our professional lives. With all that in mind, it is my pleasure to speak at the first annual Hili Forum. Thank you all for being here, and I look forward to the productive and enlightening conversations to come. Thank you.